Body bags where horror lies.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Body Bags. It's week 193, and I'm your Sunday host, Bourgie86 here again. Yes, guys. The film I got for you guys today is a film that I've been wanting to actually finish for the longest time, because I actually saw this maybe a few years ago. It was on cable TV late night. I only watched the first 10 minutes of this film, and when I was trying to figure out if this film had a release and stuff, because it was interesting to me, it didn't at the time until, of course, Scorpion released and with Kino actually put it out, I believe, last year when this film had its new release on Blu-Ray and a new HD transfer. And that, of course, is The Rift. Yes, of course. The cool thing about this release, if you haven't seen this yet, it also has a reversible cover art where it goes under the title Endless Descent, which the film's also known by, because I believe that's actually how it was released in VHS back in the day. And that was cool that Scorpion and Kino did that with this release, because I know a lot of people knew this film as Endless Descent. I, of course, knew it as The Rift from cable TV, which is very odd in the same sense, because it has two different titles and two different forms of viewing. But very cool that they did that anyways, because I know a lot of, I know one person in particular who knew this film as Endless Descent, because we were talking about it during a Skype session one night. But very cool that they did that. This film is directed by J.P. Simone. If you don't know who he is, he's most famously known for directing Pieces, which is an awesome slasher. You know that famous tagline, "You don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre." And he also directed Slugs in '88, which is another film that I highly enjoy. It's a very fun creature feature, of course, with the infamous scene with the slug with the teeth. If you have never seen Slugs, I highly recommend it. But this film, of course, stars Jack Scalia, who's from Fierce Eddie, the Abel Ferreira film. Stars Arlie Ermey, of course, Full Metal Jacket, TCM remake. Arlie Ermey, awesome actor right there. And we also got Ray Wise in this film, of course, from Twin Peaks, Jeepers Creepers 2, Excision, Suburban Gothic, Night of the Living Dead. The list goes on of famous films that I've seen him. Probably the most notable film for me personally is RoboCop. He plays one of the goons in that film, and it's pretty awesome, his role. He's just an actor that I always enjoy seeing in films, because he has that recognizable look to him. Pretty much the main plot of this one, we're introduced to this situation where this submarine known as the Siren 1 has disappeared in this terrain, and they end up bringing the guy who developed the submarine in, Wick Haynes, I believe his name. He's played by Jack Scalia, and pretty much they end up having Haynes going on this mission to try to figure out what happened and what went wrong with this submarine, and they end up going in his other submarine known as the Siren 2, and on the submarine we meet our characters of the captain, played by Arlie Ermey, and the Robbins, played by Ray Wise, and numerous other characters, and pretty much they go on a journey into this subterranean rift and trying to figure out what happened to the submarine, because they actually end up going into this rift because of this SOS signal that ends up happening in the film. And pretty much when they get to this situation in the area they are, a lot of strange things start happening. First off, there's this weird subterranean seaweed that's not even supposed to be there, and then they got attacked by this stuff, and also ends up seeing the submarine ends again, and they end up finding out that there's something else in this rift also that's not supposed to be there. That is pretty much the main plot of this one, without going too crazy into it. Now, my thoughts on this film, pretty much this is a creature feature in a way. It dwells into this the perfect way I would describe this type of film, because there's been actually a lot of these films during this time period of the late 80s, early 90s type films. Ones that come to my mind are Deep Star 6, Leviathan, The Abyss. This is like a great like film with like that type of like situations and things that goes on with him. And pretty much it's kind of like similar storyline in some of those films also. So this doesn't add anything new to that genre, but it's super fun, man. I highly enjoyed this because just the effects alone of like the creatures itself is just like mesmerizing. And it had a cool like pulsating score. I did enjoy the score of this film when the submarine's just going through like this rift, and just the tension that dwells into the score is really awesome. The characters are interesting, I have to say, because we have like our main characters like of Robbins and Haynes and the captain, and then we have like these sub characters, and some of them are more fleshed out than others, and then something happens to some situations with some of them, and some of them aren't fully developed as much as the one, especially the impact, and pretty much they're just there to add to the body count pretty much. And there is a high body count in this film. That's not really a spoiler, but very awesome shit. I really did enjoy this film for what it was. J.P. Simone's direction was great in it. Really fun shit. It was like a really fun like situations where they filmed mostly on sets because most of the film takes place on this submarine, and there's a lot of tension between characters and development, especially with like Jake Scalia's character and Arlie Ermey's character. And I like the situations and development of those two characters in particular, especially when we get to the climax of the film, which was very interesting because there was a few like twists and turns within it that I didn't see coming, and especially with certain characters also in it, and really delves into like the subplots and the story of what was going on, and just the interest and development of like the situation that was going on with like the creatures and stuff, and the characters and themselves, and the situation of containment, because as we learn, like this thing's like a virus and it spreads also type deal. So really cool, interesting thing with like containment and contained horror in a way, because they are on a submarine and the tension rises in those situations, and the characters are like, like they've been on the submarine for a long time, like, oh my god, I want to get off this, like let's just get out of here, that type of deal. So really fun film. It's not a perfect film, I have to say, but it's super fun, and it does have some great creature effects and some cool performances, especially by its like lead cast there. Like I said, Arlie Ermey, Ray Wise, Jack Scalia, they all do really good in this film, and a lot of the supporting cast also does well in their roles, especially the ones that are fleshed out more than others, like I said earlier. So if I had to rate The Rift, it's gonna solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's super fun and a little cheesy and schlocky in some scenes, but really fun shit. If you're a fan of like creature features or like these underwater like fight for your life type films like Leviathan, you'll highly enjoy this one. Awesome shit. 7.5 out of 10 for The Rift. Alright guys, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll be back next week with another one, guys. Peace out.